and I begged God for my daughter's life. I cried, I screamed, I told him, I said, God, this is my only child. You gave me a child. This is my only child, my daughter. And I heard him very clearly say, I only had one child too. And I knew that God knew my pain. I started to say the Lord's Prayer, and I couldn't get past thy will be done. Because we all know what happens when we say thy will be done. That means we release total control into the hands of our loving God. And it just felt like a heavy hand was pushing me. And I would get to that point and I just couldn't spit it out. And finally, I did. I said, God, thy will be done. I place my only child into your hands. And you can only know what that phrase means when you have a personal investment in the outcome. When you know that you can walk back into that hospital room and the person you love most in the world would be gone. But I walked into ICU, walked through that curtain, and very clearly I heard, do you trust me? And I said, yes, Lord, I do. I trust. We entered into 16 months of what could only be described as a nightmare in the healthcare system that treats an anoxic brain injury as the illegitimate child of the brain injury world. No hope was given, everything negative that could be thrown at you. And what I learned in those months was that there had never been any research done on the recovery of the anoxic brain. So whatever they were telling me had no foundation in fact. The studies weren't there. 16 months God gave me back my child. And on the date of 16 months later, my daughter suffered a sudden cardiac arrest. Then she was taken to the second hospital in town. She was taken to the Catholic hospital. They assigned doctors to her that should have been assigned the first go-around. And the doctor came in after running tests, and they said, did you know she had a heart condition and she needed a defibrillator a year at least before her brain injury? She's had a sudden cardiac arrest caused by long QT syndrome, and this is probably what caused the brain injury. I said, no, nobody had told us. At that point, 3/4 of her heart was gone, and there's barely discernible activity on the brain stem. And I said, I don't want anything negative said in front of her. I will be the one to tell her. I called a friend who was a Pentecostal pastor down in Texas, and I said, Jerry, what do I do? And he said, Miss Pam, God and Brenna have had their conversation. They're waiting on you. I still couldn't walk in there and tell my daughter.